Welcome everyone to my February energy update. Although not so much about just the monthly energy, we are still really looking at the annual energy as a whole. I think that might be because we are just moving into the year of the dragon, which takes place on February the 10th, I think it is this year. So we're just coming into that still new year feel and what is the year ahead feeling and aspect to it. So this is why I am still talking about February, or looking at February as an annual overview at the moment. Now, this week I was called by the dragon to go and see the drinking dragon, which is at Brettell-Smith, and it's like this rock face into the water. Some of you may have seen some pictures on my social media of it. And I woke up in the morning and just had to go there. And this is often what happens with me. And really that's how a lot of the intuitive dragon medicine was coming through me. I would have to go and visit different sacred places, and then I would meditate there. And then either information would come through then, or when I got home, the wisdom would come through. Now, when I sat and meditated with the dragon at Brettell-Smith, she really showed to me how she expressed that she wanted to be seen and heard for her true self, and that she no longer feared those who had ostracized the dragon as a demon. And when I sat there with this, because what often happens when the dragon shows me something, it brings up something within myself, and it brings up my own fears of being seen and heard, and how am I expressing myself as well, as a dragon channeler or a dragon activator. And this has been a really long journey for me to overcome fear around what I was channeling, questioning if it was real, is it my imagination, am I crazy? So all of those sort of fears would come up, and it's the dragons really and their medicine that has helped me to overcome this. And this is why the potency of the dragon medicine is why I want to help others with this medicine. Now, when I was younger, I used to have prophetic dreams that would come true. And usually these dreams were disasters, and they would leave me feeling quite overwhelmed, fearful, and upset that basically there was nothing that I could do to help, as the timing between my dream and the disaster was usually instant, or I dreamt about it in real time, only waking up to the news report as the tragedy that I just witnessed in my dream was unfolding. Now, more recently, I have settled into my natural intuitive gifts, and I realised how this has helped me to read the energy around me, and that further afield where I can project into the energy of the future. And this is using that same skill of dreaming and seeing, having those prophetic dreams where I would see a disaster unfolding. It's like now I can project it further into the future and read that energy and draw it in, so I can see that this is now a gift rather than a curse, and how it can help others. So to start with, I started to read the energy on a monthly basis, and I would share this with a friend who had a vast knowledge of astrology. I would say to her what was coming up on a monthly basis, and she would say, yes, that makes sense what you're saying. And then she would explain it back to me in astrological terms, which I found fascinating, as I have little knowledge of astrology, and yet I could feel and sense the changing energy around me. And there was this accuracy to the astrological predictions. So in December of 23, I challenged myself to feel into the themes for the year ahead, which I shared in my January update. So you can go back there if you haven't read this and you'd like to. But a couple of days ago, Sabrina Lynn from Rewilding, who I look up to as someone who's been doing this work for many years, released her energy update for 2024. And I was just really surprised at how we had read the energy in the same way. Now, Sabrina gives examples from an astrological standpoint. And as I listened, I just realised why the dragons had asked me to hold off releasing the course until the spring of 2024. And why it wasn't just to have the original Intuitive Dragon Medicine course in it, but also the Empress, the Alchemist and the Priestess to be integrated together as the Shamanic Dragon Priestess course. It was some great confirmation to a lot of the wisdom that I have been receiving, and of course a great confidence builder. So I'm going to talk about one of the first themes that Sabrina talks about that's coming up more for this 2024, and she talks about relationships and self-expression. And in this theme, when Sabrina talks about self-expression, it's about how are we showing up and how are we being true to ourselves and where are we heading, what's our true north, bringing up our unique self. And this urge, we're going to have a much more of a bigger urge to just get on with it and do what we came here to do. So this year is all about the self and being in line with our soul, but on such a deeper level. And then, of course, actually embodying that. Now, when we work with the dragon, we are igniting our inner flame and we are clearing and cleansing our energy power centers, which bring us back to our unique self-expression of who we are. And the dragon helps us to store this power in our navel center so that we can call on this personal power and stay true to our calling, which, our purpose or our North Star. Now, the Shamanic Priestess is a year-long journey of self-discovery. And the reason it starts in the spring is because it's just as we move into Aries, which of course is all about the self. And this year is about the self. But as Sabrina says, not in a selfish way, but more of an understanding of who we are and bringing ourselves out into the light and sharing our unique gifts and talents with the world, or at least that's how I see it. And this also means that it's a letting go of anything that is not in alignment with our soul's truth. And it's about expanding our consciousness and how we can be of service to the world. Now, in my energy update for the year, I talked about how we will have more clarity on our life's purpose and where our challenges are rooted, making it easier to see from a clear view from the perspective of curiosity. Everything becomes clearer fast when we can get out of our heads and into our hearts, becoming the observer. Now, Sabrina then goes on to talk about the interconnectedness and how we will notice this interconnection with everyone and everything. So that's people, the planet, the earth, solar flares, all the things that are happening around us. We're just going to feel it on such a deeper level. And this is as Pluto moves into Aquarius. Now, if you're an empath or a sensitive, which most of you likely are, if you're a light worker or a soul wisdom seeker, or just accessing your intuition, then sensitivity is one of your superpowers. However, if you're not practicing good energetic hygiene practices, if you're not facing and integrating your shadow aspects of yourself, then you may struggle a little more than usual as everyone else's stuff is heightened in you. So during the Shamanic Dragon Priestess journey, we begin to come into self-mastery as we practice some of these energetic practices, and we look into the 13 feminine archetypes, which are all aspects of self. We also look at our boundaries. We do some sacred self-care practices and rituals, which are all needed parts of this course that you can embody and bring into your everyday, which helps you to, master this interconnectedness of the everything. Now, this also includes being aware of ancestral and past life healing that may still be affecting you now. You will also notice this stronger interconnection with the planet. And again, when you're sensitive to energy, you may feel her pain. So during the Priestess course, we connect with the tree wisdom, which is an ancient practice for accessing the goddess wisdom and connecting to the primeval part of ourselves through meeting animal guides during shamanic journeying. This too can help us to move into a better understanding of the planet and her needs so that we can make more conscious choices. And of course, the dragon helps us to clear the land through gridding with crystals and healing, which is also explored through the Priestess course. Sabrina also talks about Pluto moving more fully into Aquarius in November 24. And this is right when we will be working with the dark feminine archetypes, which will really help us to understand the energies at play during this time. This is when you can explore if you are living your life to your fullest potential. You can notice those triggers, the push and pull energies that are coming up for you. And this could potentially be a tower moment as the chaos dragons are released and they release that chaos energy. So if you aren't aware, then this is the time that chaos could happen in your life. However, if you've been working on this gently, month by month, then you will have the support of like-minded women in the group and the techniques to counteract this energy. So with 2024 being the year of the dragon, it is the year for rapid transformation, and it makes sense as to why the dragons asked me to delay the Priestess course for another year, so that I could utilise their powerful medicine for this year. I have also talked about how everything is moving much faster this year. And in my energy update for the year, it is also why I came to the decision that my monthly full moon sessions at my home were to be dropped and switched into new moon sessions, as manifesting and abundance is the energy of this year. And that's not to say that clearing old patterns to make way for the new is not effective, but it is not where our focus needs to be, as the heaviness can be transmuted so much faster this year. And in the Priestess course, we explore those 13 feminine archetypes and how they show up for us in our life. And then we release aspects to the light that no longer serve us on our own full moon ritual, with supporting sacred self-care pastimes. Now the focus is coming together in a monthly ceremony to amplify our abundant potential. Now you will have the most success if what your focus of abundance is for the highest good of all. Now, I also talked about feeling more power pools this year, which is another effect of Pluto moving into Aquarius. And this is where we will want to explore our self-esteem and our self-worth, and to make sure that we are accessing it directly from our inner core, which, as I said before, the dragon helps you to store this energy in your navel center. So we want to be accessing this, when we're exploring our self-worth and our self-esteem, we want to be accessing it directly from our inner core, as opposed to outside of ourselves, which is where we often look for our validation. So many of us will also feel the full throes of Chiron, the wounded healer, or she's also known as the wisdom keeper. And this will show up this April, from what Sabrina says. And at this time, this is when your deepest wounds will come up to the surface for healing. And this is going to come up as a series of death and rebirth moments throughout the year, which of course brings the alchemist to the forefront as we transmute and integrate these wounds. Now, this year is very much about grounding into the physical form. So this means integrating our shadows and manifesting our dreams into fruition. And this will all happen at lightning speed. Now, the great thing about shamanism is that the drum journeys we go on in the priestess journey at an experiential level can clear the wounds in a way where we don't need to fully understand the how. We can just surrender to the it just is and move on. Now, in addition, as I am a registered transference healer, I run a high frequency 7th dimensional container to support you this year using crystal gridding and by running a monthly transference healing, which is a modality channeled by Alexis Cartwright. And it was born out of the healing of the Chiron wound. So again, this makes sense why I would use this modality to support and create this safe healing container to support us as the Chiron wound comes up to the surface throughout the year. Now, Sabrina also mentions Jupiter being brought to the forefront as well this year. And I did talk about Jupiter in my annual energy update. And this is where we want to think bigger and expand our dreams, as this year, basically anything is possible, or at least that's what the dragon said to me. And I was doing this dragon activity in a group local to me, and we were creating these dragon sticks. And as I was channeling it, we were putting in like our dreams and our wishes for the year. And as we were putting them down, the dragon literally said to me, now scrap it, throw that away and think even bigger, because anything is possible, which I just thought was great. So if you are drawn to or seeing and sensing dragons around you, then this is because you are being encouraged to step into your fullest potential and to raise the dragon within you. And I just cannot wait to embark on this journey with some of you, if this is of interest to you. And if it is of interest to you, then do keep an eye out on my Facebook page or emails, as I will be sending them out to you in the next couple of weeks. So, just to finish, I have pulled a card for you from Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle, and you can see the picture of this below in the portal. And the message is birthing of a new age, birthing new creations and dreaming a new world into being. I mean, what a lovely message to sum up the energy this year. So, wishing you all the best. Thank you so much for listening and sending you much love and gratitude. Have a lovely month.